What's going on, guys? It is MurderInc here, and today I have an awesome video for you. So I didn't really think this was possible. This was kind of a shot in the dark. After looking at a few things and kind of just going for that one key range, I attempted to use our, I don't want to say free-to-play fusion, but the fusion that's always there, Rhazin Scarhide, in a clan boss team instead of Dracomorph, not really expecting much. And I did over 100 million damage. It completely blew my mind, and I know I'm retired from the clan boss, I get it, but honestly, nothing can keep me away. There's nothing more fun for me personally in this game and finding new things, always looking to kind of push things to that next level. So I'm going to show you part of this run that used 5 champions, no poisons, no poison sets, which is another big key thing, and I don't know, I was just blown away by it. This definitely gave me some options, and it really let me kind of look into what I could actually do to push the real limits of the clan boss. Now, unfortunately, I did pull about 100 void shards, and I could not get Krisk, and he would have been the answer for me to get about 160 million damage in a key. Based on my rough math, I could be lower, or it could be higher, I'm not really sure yet. But this team is definitely something I can work with for now, so I'm excited to show you, and let's get right into it. Alright guys, so here is that run. We have Tyrant Ix, we have Mashald, Alton as our leader, Valkyrie, and of course Rhazin Scarhide, who's going to do an absurd amount of raw damage. And one of the keys here is there's no unkillable champions in this team composition at all. So I'm strictly using the hard-hitting benefit that Rhazin has, the mastery from all of these champions. Now, as we can see, Valk's not critting, Tyrant Ix doesn't have enough crit, Alton even has 99% crit, something I would never do in the clan boss, but this team was a little bit difficult for me to build. This is a 2-to-1 speed ratio, and for those of you who don't know, that means that my team will go 2 times before the clan boss goes once. This will all sync up at around turn 7 here. So basically the point is Tyrant Ix has that HP burn debuff that reduces the damage my team takes based on his kit. He also has defense up and ally protection. Now this is something that kind of pushes the limits of the clan boss and lets me survive to rounds that I did not think were possible. So even though this team did such good damage, I did get over 100, and we're going to go over the recap after this. One thing I do want to try, and it's something that I've already seen actually, is using Rhazin Scarhide in some type of toxic and poison set to kind of give me that edge, because I feel like that's really going to make the difference. Now you can use Dracomorph in a run like this. The only problem with Dracomorph is he applies so many debuffs that you have defense down and weaken. He's also attack based, so he doesn't have the survivability Rhazin is going to have. The fact that he's constantly shooting out 4 poisons at a time, and if you really quickly just take a look, we have 6 essential, not essential, but we have 6 debuffs on the boss. 5 of them are essential, 1 of them is just a side effect of one of the essential ones from Mashald being that leech. So the first thing is, everyone in this team is actually in stalwart gear. So some of them have high speed. I think Valkyrie and Mashald are both at 250 speed, which is rather high to only have 1 speed set on them. But Mashald is in stalwart gear. Valkyrie, I was lucky enough to get 7.3 thousand defense with over 250 speed, so that was really cool and lucky of me to have the gear. So we said leech was important. What's not important is that heal reduction. That is kind of just a side effect, as I mentioned here. The one problem with Dracomorph that I was trying to explain is he's putting up defense down and weaken, but he's also placing 4 poisons. So he has 6 debuffs coming from him, and now we have 4 debuffs here. And Draco, since he's going 2 times to every 1 time that clan boss goes, he's going to be recycling those poisons fast. So if attack down drops once, Draco can easily overlap it with the poison, and it's pretty much going to be a wipe. So while that probably has the highest potential for a key, it's extremely risky and would definitely take a lot of runs for me to get perfect. And obviously this is going to be a full auto run, right? What I'm doing here is this video was shot when I was kind of figuring out the best usage of my cooldowns here. But once I do get it down right, I have the stun always landing on Alton. I can just hit auto, and this is going to just be a perfect run here. So what's going to happen is defense up as well as ally protection is going to prove to be the strongest debuff in the game when paired with Valkyrie's huge shield she provides with her counterattack. Now she does have this counterattack up for every single AoE, which is just a certain way on how you can align the cooldowns here, even though it's 3 turns, to make sure this is always possible. So that's definitely a huge benefit. The only problem with this team is Alton is always going to get stunned. And what I can tell you is from the best run that I've gotten so far, that was over 100 million, I lasted to round 68, which is huge. As we know, after certain thresholds of the turn count, the clan boss damage ramps up significantly. Now once you get past 50, obviously it ignores unkillable debuffs, block damage, as well as not allowing any champions to revive after that point. Now I'm not sure if I have updated my status on this, but the current best I've done in 50 rounds is 125 million damage in 1 key with my unkillable team, but I do believe this team has the potential to blow that out of the water since I'm limited to 50 turns with unkillable. For here, it's kind of the sky is the limit. My gear is going to determine how high I can actually go. So what I'm going to have to do next is I'm going to have to weigh my options here and see if dropping Stalwart from Rhazin Scarhide is going to be worth adding that toxic set on him to see how much more damage I can get and to see if it actually is possible for me to survive all the way up to round 70, possibly 80, which would be awesome. Now one thing to note here, if I want to do this perfectly, I actually do have to manual after about round 54 to 58 because it starts hitting so hard, and the fact that Valkyrie is not in Stalwart gear, she's the one who's going to take the most damage. So I actually have to hold off on using Alton's defense up since he's getting stunned and it's desyncing to make sure he's always using it at the right time. So I pretty much have to just hit auto every time it's Alton's turn, take it off of auto, calculate where his defense up is going to be best used, and then pretty much go from there. So that is slightly annoying. That's only obviously going to be for me trying to push the limits of this clan boss team to make it work. But for any other team, and if anyone was interested in trying to replicate this, there's definitely going to be a lot of interest in a team like this because no poisoner, don't need a Dracomorph. The biggest thing for myself and my clan is not using Dracomorph here because he's so good in dungeons. We don't want to waste him in the clan boss. So the fact that it is possible to do 100 million damage without a poisoner means it's definitely realistic to say you can do 40 million damage to 2 key, you can do 70 million damage to 1 key without a poisoner as well, especially someone like Rhazin Scarhide. And I actually did figure out that with this build here, he's actually also extremely optimal for faction wars, which is his other main use in this game. So now this is pretty much where we're at as far as what there is left to do, finding a way where we can use clan boss champions in the same gear as well as other content to make everything much more efficient, and that's what I'm trying to do, and that's kind of what led me to make this team, which was really cool. So now that we've gone over that, let's skip all the way ahead because this is kind of a long key if I do let it play out, and let's see what the final damage is, and we will go over the breakdown of who did what, and we really get to see this awesome permanent fusion Rhazin Scarhide and see what his potential actually is, with those awesome 60,000 per hit without a bad L on the team. And it just shocked me when I saw it, especially in Stalwart gear. So I'll stop rambling, let's go to that end screen. Alright guys, so here is the breakdown. 106.75 million damage. This really gets me. I'm still kind of processing how this was possible. Like I said, the fact that this was done without any poisons, without a toxic set, I don't know. This is the first time where I've actually done a key and I was surprised by the output. Usually when I'm doing unkillable, I have a good gauge on what's good, what's bad, but once the numbers started ramping up and I started seeing the result, I honestly couldn't believe it, and I was kind of waiting to wipe, saying when's this gonna happen. I actually did end this run early because I wasn't anticipating to reach this far. I just got lost watching the numbers, to be honest with you, and this is where I ended up dying. I do believe I would have gotten around 110 to 115 if I stuck through with the manual portion of this. As you can see, this was obviously 26 minutes long, so I was doing a lot of thinking in between where I was using these cooldowns. Obviously, if I chose to replicate this again, I'd have a much better idea now that I've done this once. So quickly going over it, 23.5 million damage from Alton, which is absolutely insane. Tyrant at 18.7, obviously him not having the 100% crit rate definitely hurt his damage a lot. Rhazin Scarhide, 34 million damage, incredible to see. Valkyrie, another one not at 100% crit rate, doing 16 million, and Mashald geared as defensive as possible. Him having such low base defense, him also needing to be 250 speed on top of being in stalwart gear. This just took a lot of effort here. Obviously, I'm going to go over the gear for you guys, and you can replicate this without stalwart gear. You'll still do a ton of damage if you wanted to do this. You can add a poisoner if you want, and it'll be much easier to build. You can even throw on a speed leader, and I've already actually done a video on that where I did 80 million damage with Duchess as the leader, lowering all of the speeds. But take a second, leave a comment right now. Let me know, are you as impressed with Rhazin Scarhide as I am? He's kind of slowly becoming my new favorite champion, I'm not going to lie to you. If I did menu this all the way through, obviously the numbers would be much higher since he wouldn't be using his A3, and we'd be getting that Giant Slayer proc, so Rhazin may be the key to the new world record, and Draco might be out. So that's the latest development here. Now let's go over the gear in case you're interested. So unfortunately, as we can see, Rhazin has no gear on him. I did test Dracomorph before I made this video and I didn't take a screenshot. However, Rhazin is someone that I'm going to try with the Toxic set next. I'm going to see what my results are, see how long I can live, and see if the damage is actually worth it. So that's definitely something to look forward to. If you were interested, he had 5,000 defense, 35,000 health, he had 245% crit damage, and around 250 accuracy. Moving on to the champions we actually have built. Actually, I'll just show you the Masteries really quickly. All of the Masteries are going to look something like this. I did take Stoke to Fury, even though it is kind of known as an unkillable thing. That extra damage, especially when trying to push for maximum damage, is going to help you from the poisons that the clan boss does put on you, as well as any other affinity debuffs that's going to be placed on you. Moving on to Tyrant Ix the more. He's currently at 3.7 thousand defense, 43,000 health, 227 speed, 86% crit rate, 222 crit damage, and 257 accuracy. Now I did not mention this, but Rhazin is the slowest champion on the team at 186 speed, and I'm sorry I left that out. Now moving on to Alton, we have 37,000 health, and this is the champion I actually didn't properly min-max because I kind of got ahead of myself here. Ideally, I would have sacrificed a little bit more of his damage. As we can see, 99% crit rate, 218 crit damage. I would have given him probably 5.5 to 6,000 defense, so he has the opportunity to survive more of the stuns and worry less about how much his damage output's going to be, because obviously the longer this whole team lives, the longer he lives with the stuns, the more damage I'm going to do. And as we can see at the bottom here, the final stat being 258 accuracy. As far as masteries, this is the War Master version of what I'm trying to do. He is not taking Stoke to Fury, so I'm also losing potential damage there. I just did not remastery him when I did try to replicate this. Now as far as Valkyrie goes, this is another very difficult champion for me to gear, as well as I did gear. We have 251 speed. Any counterattack champion has to have this speed if you want to use one in a run. You can definitely use Skull Crusher, you can definitely use Martyr. Obviously you won't survive as long. However, using defense up from other champions, using ally protection from other champions, it's going to improve. And like I said, the fact that I'm doing 100 million without a poisoner, you can easily replicate this in much worse gear and pull out the 2 key, even 3 key with probably laughable gear at this point. So as we said, 7,000 defense. I'm not in Platinum Arena at the moment, so obviously I'm missing out on a good amount of defense from that bonus. We have 37,000 health. 64 crit rate, could be higher, 122 crit damage, that doesn't matter too much. And masteries are all the same there with that offense and defense tree. Moving on to our final champion here, we have Mashald here. Quick look at his masteries, going to his gear. As mentioned, 3,700 defense, very difficult with someone with 936 base defense, so I did the best I could there. 39,000 health, 252 speed, so he is going to be the fastest champion. And one thing to note, Valkyrie and Mashald's speed are literally non-negotiable. If you move in any different direction, you're going to desync the entire run. I've tested this, don't make my mistake. Make sure if you're calculating speed, everything to the decimal is exact here. So 252 Mashald, 251. I believe the only leeway is 253 Mashald and 252 Valkyrie, but outside of that, don't even try it. 58% crit rate, we're just looking to survive here, we don't really care about damage. 162 crit damage and 255 accuracy to make sure that leech debuff is constantly being applied, giving our team the ability to heal up if needed in those later rounds. So that's it for my video today. This was a really cool one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it and you thought this was as exciting as I did. Maybe not. As you know, I do love the clan boss, so I do tend to get overhyped for things. I just think this was a really cool achievement for this being Rhazin, no poisons, all of these different things coming together and actually pulling off this 100 million key in Ultra Nightmare. So as always guys, thanks a ton for watching. If you like this content, don't forget to subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and like this video, and I will see you all in the next upload.